Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am reviewing a pen from Kanwrite. Kanwrite is an Indian pen company, and a little while ago, a couple of months ago now, I made a video where I reviewed or showed a bunch of the number 6 steel nibs, compared the line width and things like that, and I was sent a couple of pens to try them in, and I was so impressed with one of the pens I decided I'll give it its own review here. This is the way the pen comes packaged. Nice, simple cardboard box, but nice. And the pen sits in that little foam bed there. And it is a very nice pen. And the pen we're looking at today is this. This is the Kanwrite Heritage Dual Tone, or DT, Amber Black Cap. So it's amber because it's got this translucent amber body and black cap and the gold trim, of course. It's a simple pen, but I really like the elegance of this pen, and I really enjoyed the functionality of the pen. So we're going to talk about the parts and features, and then I'm going to do size comparison, writing sample, pros and cons, all the usual stuff. Starting at the top of the pen, simple flat top. The pen is plastic or an acrylic material. We get the clip band, and you get the metal, gold colored metal clip with Kanwrite there. It's not perfectly centered, and that's okay. We're talking about super affordable pens here. The clip is functional, and I like that style clip. It's flexible enough to be able to be used. The cap swells and then continues along. We get a gold band that says Kanwrite there again. Very simple. Then the body of the pen tapers down. There's another gold cap and a black end cap there. Now, this is a piston filling pen, and you unscrew the end of that cap there to reveal the piston knob, which I like that. I like having a blind cap on a piston pen. I think it just gives a little bit of security. The cap screws off in about 2.5 turns, which is good. There's a little ink window here between some gold colored rings, threads which are nice and smooth. A very nice section that tapers down, has a flare on the end, and then the number 6 Kanwrite nib. Now, on this I have the dual tone, or the gold silver two-tone nib, and I decided to put the fine on it for this video. I quite liked the fine nib. And that's what I have on this to make this a very comfortable and nice sort of everyday writing pen. And that's basically the pen. You've got a black cap, section, and blind cap. This beautiful amber coloured material in the middle, and then a nice steel nib and with an ebonite feed there. So, simple pen, nice pen, writes well, does everything it should do, and super affordable, which I'll come back to in just a little bit. For the size comparison, I have it here alongside the standard Lamy Safari. You can see it's about the same length as the Safari and probably about the same width, but the dimensions of this pen and the way it actually feels a little bit girthier in the hand. Uncapped, you can see basically end to end they're about the same length, but if you put it so that the end of the nibs are in line here, you see that the number 6 size nib on the Kanwrite Heritage actually makes it feel longer in your fingers, but you lose just a tiny bit of length there on the end. When it's posted, it's slightly shorter than the Lamy Safari, but the Kanwrite posts very, very well. In fact, it posts remarkably securely. It's like there's a little point that it kind of locks into very nicely, and it makes it a good size in the hand. It's nicely balanced, and I think it's a very nice pen to write with, either posted or unposted. What are the dimensions of the Kanwrite Heritage Dual Tone, or DT Amber Black Cap? Well, it is 140 millimeters when it is capped. I love this. Uncapped, it's 130 millimeters, and posted, it's 160 millimeters. So nice round figures based on my measurements, which I really enjoy. The section in the middle there is about 11 millimeters, so it's a good size. And the widest point around the cap is about 15 millimeters. As I said, it has a number 6 nib. You see that in a little bit more up close detail. So it's got a nice size in the hand, nice distance from the page when you write. It posts deeply enough to fit comfortably in your hand and not be in the way. And the pen has a nice weight to it. It's 22.5 grams, 16 in the body and 6.5 in the cap, so it's definitely not back weighted when you post it. As I said, the balance of this pen is very, very good. So we'll do a quick writing sample now. As I said, I've done writing samples and a demonstration of, 8 nibs I think it was, including this one. This is the Kanwrite. I'll just put heritage. As I said, this is the dual tone amber black cap. It has a steel fine nib from Kanwrite. The ink in this today is Diamine. I think is it rustic brown? Is that what it's called? I think it's something like that. I really enjoy this ink. I like a lot of the Diamine browns. This one's a nice one. Writing sample. Okay, there's a little hint of feedback on this nib, just occasionally, but it is absolutely not scratchy. It's actually quite a smooth nib. It feels beautiful to write with. Not the wettest pen I've got, but definitely keeps up. And in terms of fast writing, no issue whatsoever. Reverse writing, that's a little scratchier, but does a job for a couple of words. Not a flex nib, but can squeeze a little bit of variation out, but you are just laying a whole lot more ink down. Really, this is a beautiful pen for everyday writing. With this fine nib, what you end up with is you end up with a relatively fine line. Like, it's not the broadest fine going around, and it's definitely not a medium, so it's a very comfortable fine. It's good for everyday writing because it's not super wet. It has a good ink capacity with that piston filler, and it writes super reliably. So what are the pros and cons of the Kanwrite Heritage DT Amber Black Cap fountain pen? Well, the only actual con that I really have for this pen is just some of the little details. It's that sort of QC details, like quality control details, like the stamping of the name on the clip there not being centered. That's about it. Like, the build quality is fine. It feels good. It's survived a number of inkings. I've used it quite a bit. This pen stands up. The piston stands up. Things I really like. The fact that it is a piston filler, you've got a good ink capacity, you get to see a little bit of that mechanism through the translucent material. You can see the ink moving around. There is an ink window, so you get a really good sense of how much ink you've got in the pen. It's really great, and that ink window would also come into play on some of the solid color versions of the Heritage. This is a model that has a number of different versions, a number of different colors, translucent versions, single color ones, but with this basic sort of, form and function available. And I think there's also versions with a chrome trim. But I think this particular color combination of the brown and the black with the gold, I think, is particularly nice. It's got a really beautiful vintage feel to it. I like the size of this pen. It's very comfortable in the, very comfortable in the hand. It's got a nice width section. You don't feel those threads under your fingers. I'm super impressed, and I'm super impressed with this pen at this price point for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the way the nib writes, the way it feels in the hand, the basic sort of build quality at this price, and the price is amazing. We're talking around the $27 US mark. Give conversion and different times and things like that, but roughly $27 US. That's that's a pretty decent price for a piston filling pen that writes this well, and also has such a wide variety of nibs available. Everything from flex nibs to extra fine, architect, all that kind of stuff, which you can all buy separately if it's not available on the pen at the time. I think it's a remarkable deal, and it's a pen I've really, really enjoyed using. So a big thank you to Kanwrite for sending out these nibs for me to review, and the pens to hold them. I've really enjoyed using them, and I've really enjoyed this pen in particular. This is one that's going to stay in my collection for a while. I think it is Firstly, as I said, love the design, love the color scheme, love this sort of vintage feel of it, but it also just writes so beautifully, and everything down to that beautiful, double broad nib. As I said, watch that video where I compare all the nibs. I'll link to it down below. It's worth looking at. So yes, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, get in touch if there are products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel. Once again, big thank you to Kanwrite for their support of my channel and for sending these items out for review. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.